What's going on, Chiefs fans? This is Daniel Harms, and this is the RGR Football Channel. Make sure you hit that like, hit the bell, and the sub notification. That way, you guys get everything that we do here on the RGR. The like really helps us get out to the rest of the community, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring the best content that we can to everybody that's involved in Chiefs Kingdom. Now, this is Tuesday. That means we have 3 days until the Chiefs and Orlando Brown Jr. can finalize a contract before he has to play on the tag if he chooses to sign it. That's a whole nother thing that we'll get to if it comes to it. I hope it doesn't. I was optimistic it would get done last week, but as we see, that has not been the case. We know that he's dealing with a new agent, someone who's never dealt with these intricacies before, but we do know that they have met. Trying to get the sides figured out. We know that Orlando Brown wants to start talking about his big contract, the big stuff, all the way at the top of the market, $23-24 million a year. There's been talk amongst projectionists that they're looking in a range of 5 years, $107 million with close to $70 million guaranteed. That's ridiculous. I don't think the Chiefs can even begin to pay that to Orlando Brown Jr., who was his first year at left tackle last year. He was not very, consistent. Obviously, he got closer to the better to the end of the year, got more comfortable. That's going to happen. But again, I don't think that he's got top 5 upside at left tackle in the NFL. I could be wrong, and that's okay. That happens. And I think that he's going to play the best that he can. I think that Mahomes and him have a good rapport. They got better as the season went along, but you can't pay him that much. So what do we know? What do we know? We know right now that this new agent of Orlando Brown Jr. is trying to not only set a precedent for himself to continue to get other big name agents and other big name players. He's trying to show everyone that he can do this, that he's not incompetent, essentially. So I think that we can reasonably assume that somewhere between $20 and $23 million is where they should and will settle. I'm optimistic it'll get done. But again, we have 3 days now. It's starting to come down to the wire. And if it gets to the point where they have to sign that franchise tag at the end and then possibly have to tag him again after this year, that makes things really dicey. So I'm getting more nervous in terms of the left tackle situation in this season, not just going forward, but in 2022. If Orlando Brown decides that he's not going to play, I don't think that's going to happen by any stretch of the imagination. There's a very, very small chance that would happen, but there are definitely situations where he could find himself and the Chiefs could find themselves without a left tackle in the immediate future. That would be very dramatic for the strongest point in the Kansas City Chiefs team. The offensive line is the strongest point. We know that the defensive end is weakest, but the offensive line is among the best. And I'm going to have a film review tomorrow of Trey Smith's, his first year, what he did really, really well, what he can improve upon, and his projection going into next year. Obviously, still going to be improving. Still going to be learning, so look forward to that. But getting this left tackle situation figured out is very, very important. Now, speaking of the offensive line, right tackle is going to be a battle. There are 3 players, in my opinion, that are going to get a shot. We know Andrew Wiley's going to get a shot. We know Lucas Niang's going to get a shot. And now we have confirmed after the draft that Darian Kennard will be given a shot to take that right tackle spot. Someone needs to do their best job and come into camp ready to play and take that spot. Lucas Niang, is he healthy? We're going to find out in training camp if he's even playing. If he's not, that tells me that he's probably done in Kansas City after this season. They might just cut him, let him go. You have Kennard and Wiley, 2 guys that you're going to have battle it out. I do think the season starts with Andrew Wiley at right tackle, but I wouldn't just assume that he starts the whole season. He has a good rapport with Trey Smith. They played together much of the end of the last season, but I do think that there are some interesting dynamics with a rookie once again being asked to play a big role on this offensive line. It worked last year. Well, it worked 2 years in a row. I'm optimistic. I have yet to see Kennard down the weight that he got down with Duke Manyweather. I'm excited to see what he looks like in training camp at that right tackle position. That's going to be fun to look forward to. Now, one last thing that I want to talk about on the offensive side of the football is there is optimism among reporters, and it's being kind of reported that Marquez Valdes-Scantling is generating some buzz out of the OTAs and stuff, and he's got a good connection with Patrick Mahomes. I think that as much as we want to read into it, we kind of have to pull back just a little bit with Marquez Valdes-Scantling, because the same reports were coming out last year with Aaron Rodgers, from Aaron Rodgers' mouth, that he was having a great season. Now, a great camp, excuse me. Now, there are some injuries that Marquez played through last year. So I'm interested to see how he's able to play fully healthy with Andy Reid's offense. It's going to be a little bit different. Obviously, you're going to be running more diverse routes. You're going to be not running the ball as much. So I think that could help him out as well. Maybe getting more targets in general, because Andy Reid likes to scheme open his players. And I know that over in Green Bay that they have their run, really it's a run first offense. It's a more efficient offense when it comes to throwing the football, and Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He's mentally one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, obviously one of the most physically gifted. Patrick Mahomes is, in my opinion, the most physically gifted quarterback in the NFL. Josh Allen would be a close second because of what he does on the run, but I think that his mechanics, as odd as Mahomes's are, Josh Allen doesn't have the different kind of arm slots that Mahomes has, but the Wolves are not going to get into very much. I think that Mahomes is a better throw of the football, regardless. It doesn't really matter. All I'm saying is, with Marquez valdes-scantling in Kansas City and this different offense with maybe more targets coming his way, there's a chance that he has a much better season than he's ever had. And that would be great for Kansas City, who gave him, basically a 2-year, $60 million contract with a third-year option. And to get to that third-year option, he would have to have 2 good seasons, which he could have. I'm not ruling it out, but I'm not going to say that he's going to, just because we got a few OTA camp reports that he's looking really, really good. 27-year-old, not wearing any pads, not having to go up against real competition, is looking good. I'm sorry. I'm not going to put too much into that. So there's optimism. I think that this whole wide receiver group could have a lot of fun outcomes. There could be a lot of different things that happen. So I'm looking forward to what MVS does in camp and seeing what he does against the corners in Kansas City, because there's a lot of young talent. There's a lot of young guys trying to prove themselves too. So I think it's going to be a fun dynamic to really get into. Last thing I want to talk about today, on the defensive side of the football, where this is something that I've really struggled with. I did the film review on Leo Chenal, and I have, if you guys didn't see it, you can just Google it, look up Leo Chenal film review RGR football. You'll find it. It's awesome. It was a lot of fun to watch his tape, and there are some dynamics in his game that I thought then, I do still think now, that could cater to more of a defensive end type role, like how the Dallas Cowboys used Micah Parsons in situations last year. I still think that he's going to be the Sam. He's going to have that in the base defense role. When it comes to nickel, he's going to be off the field unless you get him down there in some pass rush situations. Now, the different part about this is where is he going to keep playing? Is he going to find himself on the field as a defensive end in those pass rush situations? Is he going to be an overhang linebacker? Is he going to be just a blitzer? So you're going to have 4 down linemen, you're going to bring a linebacker and kind of figure it out that way. What are they going to do? I want to see them use Leo Chenal in all these different ways, because he has the athletic upside to play like that Micah Parsons role last year, where he's a stand-up linebacker. He plays stand-up in some situations too, but he can come down and rush the passer. I want to see them develop that in camp. I want to see him get his hand in the dirt a little bit, work with the defensive ends, and develop that. If we can see him doing that in training camp, that tells me, and one of the big things about this whole offseason was, outside of George Karlaftis, the Chiefs did not address defensive end at all. So what's their plan? Maybe Leo Chenal is part of their plan. Maybe getting him in some pass rush situations is part of their plan. So I'm very interested to see how he's going to be utilized. And camp is coming. Oh man, I'm so excited for camp. I want to see camp. I want to see these guys playing. I want to see what they do. I want to see how they line everybody up. That's all I want to care. That's all I care about right now. I want to see camp, that, and getting this contract down with Orlando Brown Jr. before Friday. Friday is the deadline. So without any further ado, make sure you guys hit that like, hit the bell, hit the sub, and in the comments today, give me the starter at right tackle. There's 3 options, but right now, give me who you think is going to start at right tackle week 1 of the NFL season. I'm looking forward to seeing camp. I'm hoping you guys are going to be there whenever I figure out when I'm going to be there. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And like Seth says, it is a fantastic and a great day to be a Chiefs fan.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.